health care and all this stuff about the seniors' homes that during COVID was top of the list and now is all of a sudden at the bottom of the list.
Well, I think they need to take care of the homeless and stuff like that, and there's too many homeless people in Ontario and in London. So they got to do something about that and create more jobs.
This election is more about what are we going to do with the taxes that Donald Trump is trying to imply, and also what they're going to do about getting more jobs for people in this community.
Hi there and welcome back to a special edition of Power Play. We're talking, of course, about the Ontario election. Results will start coming in a few hours. We wanted to give you a bit of a lay of the land, though, of where things stood coming into E-Day. And who better to help us do that than Nik Nanos, rather. He is the Chief Data Scientist and founder of Nanos Research. Nick, great to see you. Looking forward to spending the rest of the evening here with you. Let's talk about where things stand at a top-line level at this moment in time.
You know, it's interesting. Doug Ford asked for a stronger mandate. You know, back in 2022, he won about 40% of support, 4 out of every 10. And, you know, when we look at the course of the campaign, you can see that from the get-go that he started to really pick up steam. And, you know, the thing is, he called the election based on Trump and tariffs and stuff like that. And you can see, Vashi, you know, a pretty significant 13, 14 percentage point lead. When you get past that, you know, his visit to the United States, another key moment during the campaign, him still being able to maintain basically a 15-point advantage. Then we get to the debate. You know, still the Ford advantage. The kicker here for the debate, only about 5 or 6% of Ontarians said that the debate was critical for them making their decision. So still Ford going into this. And, you know, when we get to the platforms, still an advantage. Does this sound familiar? It's kind of like Bill Murray and Groundhog Day. We get to the very end, Vashi.
Yeah, not a lot of movement.
No, but basically a consistent advantage. He's got about 7 to 8 points higher than he did in 2022. So it suggests that he's going to win tonight. He'll have a stronger mandate in terms of the number of votes. Who knows how that'll convert into seats, but it'll be some sort of majority for Doug Ford tonight.
What about the battle of the personalities, and in particular, sort of where the leaders stack up against each other, and what your view is for the stakes rather for Marit Stiles and Bonnie Crombie in particular?
I think, Vashi, to your point, this is where, you know, it's actually going to be critical. The story, I think, tonight is not necessarily whether Doug Ford will win or not. The story is going to be who will form the official opposition. You know, every night, CTV News and Nanos asked Ontarians who they would prefer as premier. You know, Marit Stiles trailing Bonnie Crombie throughout the campaign, you know, and you know, the reality is Bonnie Crombie is comfortably in second place. But, you know, you get to the end of the campaign, it closes a little bit. But look at that Ford number, 43%. You know, he's still got the advantage on the leadership front. And it's going to be interesting to see how Crombie and Stiles, how their personal brands and their support map out into seats.
You mentioned efficiency before for the PC vote. Efficiency for these votes are going to be important, too. When you're looking at where their vote base is spread, when you're looking at what area of the province to really watch tonight, what are you looking at?
Well, you know, the interesting thing in the tracking, Ford basically leads in 4 of 5 regions with a fairly comfortable advantage. You know, in the North and Eastern Ontario, he's still doing actually quite well. And, you know, you can see in Eastern Ontario, basically cities. The key takeaway, Vashi, is the other parties do well in the cities. You can see Kingston and the Islands. But, you know, check out Central Ontario, right? Small town communities, solid blue for Doug Ford and the Progressive Conservatives. And, you know, even in Southwestern Ontario, basically you have the Conservatives with little islands, London, Kitchener-Waterloo, Hamilton, Niagara, you know, basically as pockets for the opposition parties. But I think this is where the interesting race is going to be, not necessarily in the GTA, but straight downtown. Check it out, Vashi. You can see Conservative, NDP, and Liberal all vying for support in this region, with basically all 3 of those parties having fairly decent numbers. So, big question, who has the best organization? Get out the vote in order to deliver the political capital that they've built over the last week.
Here's my big and final question, because we talk federal politics all the time, and boy, oh boy, has it ever been a month with your tracking in that arena. What is the takeaway when you look at that and for federal parties?
Well, you know, Vashi, in the latest Nanos tracking, you can see the Conservatives have gone from a 27-point advantage to, you know, you can see here's a 27-point advantage on January 10th. Fast forward, and it is only an advantage that is almost within the margin of error, 37-33.
shift, yeah.
Now, we talk about the Ontario election. Ontario is the best region for the Conservatives right now. You know, when we saw that Toronto map, I think Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives are thinking, how can we map out the forward path to victory in Ontario, and for Pierre Poilievre and the federal Conservatives to piggyback onto that?
Okay, so much to digest, lots to think about. Thanks a lot, Nick. I appreciate it. Nik Nanos is the Chief Data Scientist and founder of Nanos Research.